Deshaun Watson's now on the Cleveland Browns, and it's wild. It's crazy. Now the Packers and the Texans have 2 first-round picks. So best believe we had to do a new 2022 NFL mock draft. This one will be predictive, so not necessarily what I would do, but what I think may happen based on some of the reports I've seen. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro, subscribe, leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. We'll have Walk the Mock tomorrow, so be there for that. That's always a ton of fun. And I'm going to be working on a 7-rounder. I was going to do 2 rounds today, but let's be honest, I drop a 2-rounder and Baker Mayfield would be on his way to Indy for that 2nd-round pick. So I'm gonna hold on that, but 7-rounder is in the works. Let's go ahead, get into the nitty gritty. I have Aiden Hutchinson going to the Jags. No secret. Everyone kind of assumed this after the franchise tag to Cam Robinson that Aiden Hutchinson is the pick, that they're not gonna go offensive tackle. They still may, but right now the favorite for the first overall is Aiden Hutchinson, and he's like the number 1 pick for a lot of people. Detroit Lions. So currently, if you're a betting man or woman, the current favorites for this Detroit pick is Kyle Hamilton and Malik Willis. And Detroit fans, it doesn't matter if it's at 2 or if it's at 32, they get mad at me when I draft a quarterback for them. So Detroit, I decided, hey, I haven't picked Kyle Hamilton in a while for Detroit. Let's go ahead and do it. I really don't think they're gonna go Malik Willis. I don't think that means they're out of play at 32 for a quarterback, especially you'd be slapping them with that 5th-year option. I think that becomes a bit tantalizing, especially if the quarterbacks kind of fall. So yeah, Kyle Hamilton, wonderful pick. Houston Texans. I really liked penciling Evan Neal here. It makes a lot of sense. Doesn't look like Laramie Tunsil is going to be on his way out. And Titus Howard, it looks like they just like him at left guard. Apparently they don't want to put him at tackle anymore. I don't know. So I still think Evan Neal, that's a great pick. But you know what? Let's ride the hype of the combine, because edge is also a very popular pick. So who are the hot names at edge coming out for potentially this pick? Well, KT, but he's getting all that bad press. People worried about his character. There's Jermaine Johnson, who had a fabulous combine where it was like everyone's like, oh man, this guy's ceiling a lot higher than we anticipated. But nobody came out with more buzz than Travon Walker coming out of the combine. A lot of people think this cat will probably have a similar learning curve to Rashawn Gary, who's developed into a wonderful player. So, Travon Walker going here to the Texans. The New York Jets, with all the tackle prospects left on the board, we're going tackle. It's just what we're going to do. But everyone and their mom, if you haven't checked out my ranking videos, go check it out. But everyone and their mom knows I like Evan Neal. He's my top tackle. So let's switch it up. Let's say Ikem Ekwonu is actually the top tackle for a lot of teams. And a lot of people actually think he's a really good fit for the Jets. I tend to think Charles Cross could be a good fit as well. Obviously, I think Evan Neal, it doesn't matter where he plays, he's going to be wonderful. But for the sake of this mock, we're going to go with Ikem Ekwonu to the Jets. So now at that 10th pick, we're going to be kind of like thinking maybe receiver, maybe edge. It looks like they brought in DJ Reed, so they don't have to go corner, but they could. I mean, corner is a very valuable position, and having more depth and more competition at the corner position is always valued. So I wouldn't take that out the realm of possibility just yet. New York Giants. This one's easy. Evan Neal. They need to get help for Daniel Jones. They said that'd be a priority. They signed a few low budget vets in Glowinski and Falisano. Bad with names. I'm sorry, the former Bills guard. So now they address the other tackle position with Evan Neal. Carolina Panthers. This is hot. Y'all just lost out on Deshaun Watson. What's going on? Like with Federer. I don't know. Apparently he just wants to draft great players. Good for you. That's how you should approach the draft. Draft the best players on your board. Matt Rule, he kind of sees this as, hey, I'm probably going to get fired halfway through the season. I need to make a play. Quarterback would be the play here. Unfortunately, this is not the best of quarterback classes. So who's going to win out? The GM or the coach? Final say will go to, was it Tepper? So in this case, maybe Charles Cross. I don't know. I went with Malik Willis. I think they're going to, especially after the Watson, them not being able to land Watson, they just go ahead and be like, no, let's just go ahead, grab our quarterback of the future. I really think that it's come down to Willis or Charles Cross. So, yeah, I just did Willis here. Panther fans, just throw a little trash can emoji in the comment section if you hate the pick. Just do that, and I'll still give it a little heart. This is the New York Giants' next pick, and I'm not going to lie, man. KT, I don't see him falling past this point. This is just too great of value. You can make a case for one of the corner positions. They said they're open to train James Bradbury. That has yet to come to fruition. So, for all intents and purposes, I think, and I assume he's going to be on the roster next year. But they do need to add some pass rushing ability. KT, he's good at that. The Atlanta Falcons, this is probably a very likely trade down spot here because y'all probably going to gather more picks. I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird because it sounded like maybe they were going to be the favorites for Watson based on Matt Ryan pushing his roster bonus back to Tuesday. Essentially, it's money he would get if he was still on the roster. So he pushed it back to Tuesday. So that told me, oh, maybe a trade's imminent, and then it gets just snagged. Sean Watson just gets snagged right from under him. We know they have no receivers. They have Kyle Pitts, and that's it. It's kind of rough. So feels like they have to go receiver. I prefer if they could trade down and then just maybe take receiver. But we're not doing trade downs in this, so I went with Garrett Wilson, top receiver on my board. A lot of potential in that cat. Seattle Seahawks, straight up, take the best player available. I don't think they have to go quarterback, and I don't think they will go quarterback in this draft. So I got them going Charles Cross. I can't see him falling out of the top 10, though it's entirely possible. I think Charles Cross has a ton of potential. It's a good cornerstone. Currently, Dwayne Brown is a free agent, so. The New York Jets, we could take Drake London here. We could take Sauce. We could take Steenley. Or we could go Jermaine Johnson. So who do I do? What do I do? I'm just going to say, hey, Joe Douglas, he loves the trenches. I went with Jermaine Johnson. A lot of people don't think he makes it out of the top 10. At least that's what I'm reading. So he doesn't make it out the top 10. Washington football team, I imagine they're going to get more receivers. I think this would be a good spot for a guy like Drake London or maybe Garrett Wilson to come off the board. Pair Scary Terry up with somebody, maybe get more out of De'Ami Brown this year. They just don't have a lot outside of Terry McLaurin at wide receiver. Oh, who's at 12? Oh, I know who's at 12. It's the Minnesota Vikings, and we're doing this. I'm sorry, it fell this way, so I always want to do something different for the Vikings, but you have one of the worst cornerback rooms in football. Cameron Dantzler, and that's it. Don't you tell me Harrison Hand and Chris Boyd are plausible options, because that's terrible. Ahmad Gardner, still on the board. I think he goes in the top 10, but he's here at 12. We're taking him. Houston Texans is their next pick, and I think they're just going to grab talent, and Derek Stingley is talent here. So they come with two very high upside guys in Derek Stingley and Travon Walker. Again, building for a future. Based on their free agency, they ain't playing for next year. They just ain't. Baltimore Ravens. I did this pick last time in my mock, and I really like it. I really think it's just... I think Jordan Davis, I think this is his floor. He could maybe go a bit higher than this, depending on a team wants to trade up. I mean, you could say this is his floor. You could say, I don't think he makes it to 17 to the Chargers. Just the way he tested out. Like, he legit tested out like a unicorn. Guys just don't test out that way. It's just, as a pass rusher, that didn't really show up on the field. Not just yet. He's still a bit unpolished in that regard. So, he makes it here to the Ravens. I like the pickup. Let's go over both Eagles picks here. Let's go over the first one. Trent McDuffie. I know some people don't like Trent McDuffie. They're like, oh, he's undersized, blah, blah, blah. I think in Jonathan Gannon's scheme, it's irrelevant. This is a guy that tested out amazingly. He has 3 shutdown seasons at Washington. A cat that has all types of flexibility. I think he can play outside in the slot, and if you want, throw him at safety. So that a guy with that type of versatility. Matter of fact, the Eagles, they're currently they don't have anyone signed at safety, or at least it doesn't feel like it. So grabbing someone here that could actually fill in 2 spots potentially, and you could kind of just move as chess piece. I like it. And then at 16, I really think they're gonna end up going offense with one of these picks. I think they may trade. I don't know if they'll end up being able to pitch one of these picks to invest in the 2023 draft. I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But I think they will use it on offense, and I think receiver makes the most sense. And I may not have him this high, but I think he can go this high just because of the fit. So I got Treylon Burks. He tested out pretty good for a guy his size. Of course, he didn't test out to everyone's expectations, but they set stupid expectations from the get-go. And for the most part, we all bought it. I know I did. I sat there eager. To be fair, I put him on guys that may let down at the combine. He made that list. So, not saying I'm Nostradamus. I'm just saying I took a big guess and I got it right. But I think Burks, getting a receiver with size and a receiver with such a vertical capability would be top-notch for the Eagles. I take him here because I don't trust the Saints or the Chargers. They could go. Both those teams could very well go receivers. So let's just go ahead, grab our receiver here. And the Los Angeles Chargers ended up going, I think, Trevor Penning. He may go a bit higher than this. I think the NFL will be higher than I am on Penning. I got Penning as I think 26 on my big board, but the guy tested out like a freak. Laterally, he tested out amazing. Like, no one questioned what type of athlete this guy was. It's just about putting some more polish on this guy's game, more technique, especially in pass protection, because a lot of what he has going on is wasted movement. I think you could throw him on the right side immediately. He'd be a plus in the run game, and probably be a work in progress as a pass protector, but better option than Storm Norton. And then the Saints, sounds like they're good. Jameis Winston's coming back to town. Let's get him a deep threat because Jameis loves the deep ball. Jameson Williams, I don't think he makes it out of the top 20. This guy's got a rare stop-start ability. He's a speedster. I like him here, pairing him up with Michael Thomas. Philadelphia Eagles, I think we'll see a linebacker go in the top 20. And the Eagles just make the most sense because they're not that good at linebacker. So Devin Lloyd going here, I think probably will be the first guy off the board, even though he's not my first linebacker. If you haven't checked out my linebacker rankings, I just put them out a few hours ago. So check that out. But I think the NFL will think he is the top linebacker on the board. He maybe didn't test out as freaky as some guys, but play says enough. The dude's got the length. He was phenomenal this year. He has the ability to line up and get after it as an edge rusher, as a blitzer. He's a phenomenal run stuffer, good short area quickness. So Devin Lloyd going here. Pittsburgh Steelers, I would have loved if Penning made it. I wouldn't mind taking Bernard Ryman here. I'm a lot higher on him than a lot of other people. I actually got him higher than Penning. But I don't think he'll probably go that high in the draft. I think he still goes in the first round. I just don't think he goes top 20. So with that being said, you can make a case maybe Zion, but no, they're kind of good on the interior for all intents and purposes right now. Unless you're looking at Zion as a tackle. I think he can play tackle if you want him to. He could really fit any role. So I kind of chucked that. Tyler Linderbaum, we're going to just be seeing him fall because for right now, he's just a center-only prospect. Doesn't matter how much you love him. He's probably going to fall because of positional value. That's just going to be the case. So I was like, what other spots can I go here for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I thought defensively, corner, I don't know, Kyer Elam wouldn't be a bad get here. Linebacker, do we want to go back-to-back linebackers? But then I was like, man, Devontae Wyatt's still on the board. Currently, as far as I know, Stephon Tuitt's future is kind of up in the air. But regardless, getting some good depth there on the interior, a guy this explosive, man, hey, listen, if you kind of worry about your cornerback position, just get more pass rush. And at least that'll make their job a bit easier, even if they're not that great. So, yeah, what happened to I'm missing, A little drawstring went up in here. That's irrelevant. Let's keep talking draft. New England Patriots. I think this is a prime pick for a corner. I think Kyer Elam would make a lot of sense. They haven't drafted defense since 2015, though. And better yet, they haven't drafted a corner / safety, a secondary player, since 2010. They've been doing offense, so I think they might stick with that, especially with the Shaq Mason trade. You got a guy like Michael Onwenu who can actually play wherever you want on the offensive line, and they re-signed James Burns. He's a depth piece. I don't want him starting. So Zion Johnson's wonderful here. Another guy that gives you a bit of flexibility. And then this is the Green Bay Packers' first pick. You don't risk it. Just go Chris Olave, because I think after the top 5 receivers, it gets a bit muddied. Like, I don't know. There's not this 6th guy that I'd be willing to take a shot on in the late first round. So just grab him here. Chris Olave would be a wonderful addition. The Arizona Cardinals, they lost Chandler Jones. They brought back, Gardeck? But still, they need some more pass rushing options. George Karlaftis, he may fall in this draft. I'm way higher on him than a lot of other people are, just because I think his game just translates well to the NFL. I think he's going to be a very good player in the NFL. So Cardinals take him here. Dallas Cowboys, man. I know a lot of people will be like, man, Tyler Linderbaum for the Cowboys. Yes, listen, Tyler Biadasz wasn't that bad. He really wasn't. And now that you have Collins gone, now that Tyron Smith is kind of up there in dog years and often injured, like, I feel like you need a guy with a bit more flexibility. Like Connor Williams is gone. That offensive line, it's literally Tyron Smith like 50% of the time. And then you got Biadasz and Zach Martin. That's it. Like Terrence Steele, I mean, like, I don't know. The verdict's still out on him, But I think grabbing a cat that maybe could play guard, but more than likely ends up being a pretty darn good tackle in the league. I think that's a bit better than going after a center-only prospect. So I went with Bernhard Raimann. I think he's a cat that could come in, play either tackle spot, or if you want, he come in and play that left guard spot. So we grab him right here. I know a lot of people be like, man, no, Tyler Linderbaum's such a good prospect. Yes, but Tyler Biadasz is also a guy that cannot play guard. If you draft Linderbaum, Biadasz is good as cut, good as gone, good as you're still in the same place you were, just now with a better center. So I think grabbing a future tackle, maybe can play guard right now. Even Terrence Steele is a guy that could kick inside when you need him to, if you want to start Raimann on at right tackle. So like, this is how I would go about it. I think there's just more value, more versatility in that pick. Buffalo Bills, they extended Mitch Morse. So again, Linderbaum off the table. So, I mean, corner, they didn't really go after corner and they lost Levi Wallace. I think that's a possibility. But I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction, because I mean, there's guard, but Kenyon Green, that's a guy that's, I don't know. Kenyon Green's an interesting prospect. I still think he sneaks in the first round, but he really had a bad combine. So how about this? I'm looking ahead. I'm looking to replace Tremaine Edmonds, because as far as I know, let's take a look. Tremaine Edmonds contract, because we might have to change this on the spot. No, this is the final year of his contract. It's this year. This is his 5th year. Yeah, this is his 5th year deal, or 5th year option. So this is the last year on his contract. Let's go ahead. Let's upgrade a guy that I'm exceptionally high on, Leo Chenal, a guy that's going to be a legit run stuffer, which guess what? The run game's been a problem. And I think he could be a lot better in coverage than what people anticipate, because he wasn't given a lot of coverage responsibilities in college. However, the way he tested out suggests that he can be plus in coverage. So I think Chenal finds a way to get in the first round. It's going to be in this back end of the first round area, and I think this would be a wonderful fit. Tennessee Titans. Hey, y'all re-signed Ben Jones. I'm sorry. Tyler Linderbaum off the table. Tyler Smith was an interesting thought. Again, the receivers, like, okay, maybe Jahan Dotson, but that's a guy that I'm not entirely positive can play on the outside. You can say the same about Sky Moore. And Christian Watson, is this maybe where he makes an appearance? Because they love that's the whole point of their run game, to set up the play action, the vertical game. So Christian Watson could be a thought. But I feel like then we're reaching too much at that point. Then I got to thinking, I mean, there's edge. That's that's a possible. It's not really a possibility. They just extended Landry, so probably not. Maybe linebacker, Nakobe Dean. But I mean, hey, wouldn't that be funny that Monty Rice just gets replaced by the guy that replaced him in college? Oh, that would be kind of ironic. That's a thought. I think Nakobe Dean might see a slide, though, just because wasn't able to participate in his pro day or the combine because of pectoral injury, and his size is a concern for NFL teams. So that's yet to be seen how far he will fall in this class. So I thought, you know what? If not for Jordan Davis, guys like Devontae Wyatt and guys like Travis Jones would be getting more first-round buzz because they tested out freaking phenomenally. It's just they happen to be in the same class as this mythical beast known as Jordan Davis. They haven't really found a good consistent nose since losing Daquan Jones. Like they have, was it Tiert? Former, I think it was Florida International player. I feel like he's more of a depth guy. He's not a guy you want consistently on the field. Travis Jones would be first off a big upgrade, and just woof, that would be one hell of a defense. So we grabbed him here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I pulled the trigger. I think my boy Kenyon Green, I still like him. I still like his tape. He comes here and he's the Ali Marpet replacement. They're going to have Shaq Mason there at right guard. Kenyon Green, he was at his best at left guard in 2020 for Texas A&M, but he has the capability to also play right tackle, right guard. You love that versatility, and on a team that was kind of beat up down the stretch going into the playoffs, especially on the offensive line, having a guy that has that versatility, I think is kind of key. It's kind of clutch. I think Tampa Bay, they might go with that option. I think guys like Zion Johnson, Kenyon Green are all on the board for the Bucks. By the way, Tyler Linderbaum, I know he's here. Ryan Jensen just signed an extension. Sorry. Green Bay Packers, they have Josh Myers, so Linderbaum, not a possibility. Instead, I went with Boye Mafe. I think he might end up leaving David Ajabo. Potentially, he won't leap him in my rankings, but because of the injury, haven't seen the specifics of the injury that Ajabo suffered at his pro day. Because he could still go as high as like one of the Eagles picks, because apparently the Eagles were really high on him. He could still go there, because I mean, you're drafting these guys essentially for the future, not necessarily what can they do for me right now. But the Packers are kind of in the more of the, hey, what can they do for me right now? Boye Mafe is a guy that could come in, be a part of that edge rush rotation. Preston Smith's a guy that could, they many times in the last couple of years, they were in sub packages where they had like 3 edge players on the field at once, when it was like Zadarius, Preston, and Rashawn. So with Zadarius now gone, they bring in Boye Mafe, who had a ridiculous 41.5-inch vert. And then the Miami Dolphins, I really feel like this is literally the basement of where Linderbaum falls. I think he'll go higher than this, but as a Dolphins fan, if he's still on the board, you go grab him. He's just good. He's a great fit for Mike McDaniel and his scheme. You just grab him. They're bad on the offensive line. How have they addressed the offensive line? Connor Williams. Oh, great. That makes my heart warm. Ugh. But no, they grab him here. Solid pick. I think this is the lowest. This is the floor. This is where Linderbaum will come off the board no matter what. That's my opinion. But he's probably going to go a lot higher than this. I at least believe so. But we'll see. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. David Ajabo is an interesting thought, but he doesn't really fit the criteria of what Spag likes in his edge rushers in terms of he likes big, beefy, athletic. So he doesn't really fit that criteria, though I wouldn't mind taking him here. However, the Chiefs, they did lose Ward in free agency. Add in another corner, I think would be kind of clutch. Someone tried to tell me, hey, man, they don't really invest in the corner position until like day 2 and day 3. And it's like, I was like looking back and I was like, the Chiefs have had like 3 first round picks since 2015. And it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes, and then Marcus Peters. How sway how? Let me just confirm that before I just like rattle that off. Because there might be another guy that I'm missing in there. Who knows? Yeah, since 2015, their first round picks. Marcus Peters, 2015. Patrick Mahomes, 2017. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 2020. So we're going corner. Kyrie Elam. Don't tell me, oh, they don't pick corners in the first round. When just in their last 3 first round picks included a corner. By the way, not on the team anymore, but still, they drafted a corner. Kyrie Elam, wow, a lot faster than what anyone was anticipating. He had a bit of a down year just because of the penalties. He can get a bit handsy, but they like those press guys. That is Elam. And then Cincinnati Bengals. Hear me out, Bengals fans. I wanted to experiment. No, I didn't. I was just like, yes, I did. All right, so like I think Travis Jones could be an option here, but obviously he's off the board. He went to Tennessee because they do like to rotate their defensive interior guys in. Like I think there was like 3 defensive interior guys with 600 plus snaps last year. So they lost Ojaba. It makes sense. Maybe they want to replace him with somebody. But Jones is off the board. Andrew Booth, I don't know. He could be sliding. He hasn't been able to participate in the Combine or the Pro Bowl because of injuries. So he might end up slipping. I don't think he's necessarily as hot at his name as he was at the end of the year. Offensive line, obviously. Like Tyler Smith's a real option, I think. Real option. But you know what? I also like drafting for value, and I don't think he falls out of the first round despite the injury. We're going David Ajabo, and you might be like, what? They got Sam Hubbard. They got Trey Hendrickson. They got Cameron Sample. They have Khalim Kareem. They have Joseph Asai, who is essentially a very similar player in the type of role that they would play in this defense. Yeah, but you could always upgrade. Ajabo, obviously, a much more highly regarded prospect than a guy like Asai. Cameron Sample's a guy with a bit versatility. He could kick inside. You could say the same thing about guys like Hubbard and Hendrickson. Like you have David Ajabo, who could be this guy that like kicks out like outside of the tackle, playing in that like 7-tech, 9-tech area down the line, and kind of just be your designated pass rush only early on in his career. I'm just drafting talent. I know like corner. Yeah, I think corner is definitely something they should go after. They are bringing back Eli Apple though. Hey. But I think what really helps coverage is obviously pass rush. So if you can't get a guy if Andrew Booth, if you're not willing to go Andrew Booth here, then Ajabo I think makes a ton of sense. So just, again, experiment with some possibilities. Tyler Smith's also a hot name now being talked about as potential first rounder. Doesn't surprise me if he sneaks into the first. And then the Detroit Lions. We haven't had a quarterback come off the board since 6. So I know Detroit fans are probably like, oh, he's going to do it again. He's always drafting quarterback at 32 just because, it makes sense. Swing the bat. This is your second first round pick. Gets a 5th-year option. I don't care you brought back David Blah. I don't care that you brought back, Tim Boyle. I don't even know. I don't know what your backups' name are. And I don't care. I'm looking to the future, and I'm looking for a guy to replace Goff because I don't believe he's the future. With all that being said, I went with Nakobe Dean. Yeah, I went Nakobe Dean. Listen, I don't know if Nakobe Dean slides out of the first round. I really don't, because he was just such a playmaker this year. I think Detroit, especially Dan Campbell, is going to see a guy like that that had that type of presence on his team, like the charisma he brought defensively for that squad at Georgia, and be like, that's the type of culture I want. Get me that man. Come on here. So they get out of the first round with Nakobe Dean and Kyle Hamilton and call it a day. But that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. As always, do that YouTube theme. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.